Shalom, shalom, my brothers and sisters. This is Shepherdess Thomas, and we would like to thank you for tuning in to Yahweh's Golden Treasures. This is Educational Series Part 3. We are blowing the shofar, brothers and sisters. We are blowing the shofar today on the Church Untold Truth, Replacement Theology, and the Big Bang Theory about the upper room. Now, we would just like to go over some things with you that we are Messianic followers. We keep Yah's feast days. We keep his laws, his seventh day Shabbat, his testimonies, and his commandments. And brothers and sisters, we would just like to let you know that the series that we are doing with you today and this educational information that we are sharing with you is not to offend anyone. It's not to step on no one's toes, but we as a people do not like to study. So I'm calling you into accountability because we need to know these things. So it's not to offend anyone, but it's to educate you. Now, we're going to start with the Church Untold Truth. And it says the modern word church is a developed and borrowed word of an ancient pagan ritual amongst the Celtics and the Druids called Kirsch, or better yet, Circe. Now, church was a circle of pagans observing in honor of Circe, the daughter of the sun deity Helios. Since scripture does not recognize a separate entity from the Israelites of Yah that goes by the name church, neither do we. We avoid the historic English word that was used to reference this brand of pagan worship. Moving on. Now, the Church Untold Truth. In major Christianities, it's been said in the majority of English Bibles that you see in today's society, here in America, you will see the word church is used as a rendering for the Greek word ecclesia. Now, this is an error in translation. The Greek word ecclesia means outcalling, and in English, it refers to an assembly. Now, such as a meeting or an outgathering. Now, in Hebrew, it is called quahol. And when I say some Hebrew words, I will let you know what it means and I'll spell it out for you. Now, quahol is Qahal and is also translated in English as congregation or an assembly. This little piece of information, my brothers and sisters, is very critical to us because you have to remember that these pagan forms of worship has been handed down to us from our forefathers due to the slavery and the force that they put up on us to forget everything about who we are, who we worship, and how we went about doing it. So the only thing we know right now is pagan forms of worship, and we have become adapted to that. And this is the educational series that we're using for you today to bring you out of that pagan form of worship and get you lined back with the reality of things. Now, moving on, it says, this little piece of information is very important for many reasons. And because of the lack of effort put into correcting this mistranslation, the people, our people, all people, have been deceived into believing something that never existed. Just work with me now. Now it says, what is untold to the people is that when the Masoretes, which is a Jewish function of people, also along with the Roman and the Greeks, got their hands on our Hebrew text, one of their purposes was to replace the chosen people, the Hebrew Israelites, with a new term representing a new body of people, in which we get the term and the word church. This word alone, with the word Christianity, were instituted as replacement in the New Testament for the Hebrew nation, which is in the Torah. Now, when you go to church, they want to take you to the New Testament and just bypass all the meat, all the ingredients of the word that's in the 5 books of Moshe, which is Moses. Moving on. Now, church and Christianity never existed. The words that was used in regard to the chosen people of Yah were the word congregation and assembly. It's all in the Torah. Now, it says, when you search the words of the Most High Yah, you'll find a big difference in the word usage, such as the word church is mentioned 111 times in the New Testament covenant and 0 times in the Torah or the Old Testament. Let's go a little farther and examine and discovering where this really starts. Now it says, in examining and discovering that Israel is mentioned 73 times in the New Testament and 2,220 times in the Old Testament covenant. If the church, as it is promoted in today's society, was so important, brothers and sisters, listen to me, was so important, how come Yah never mentioned it to his people? Simply because it is not of his fashion. So let's examine where the word church comes from and what it really means. Now, we're moving to, it says the origin of the word church is from karakon. And in Greek, it means church. Now, but in Scotland, it means kirk, K-I-R-K. In Germany, it means Kirche, K-R-C-H-E. And in Neverland, it means Kirk, K-E-R-K. It sounds right, but I'm telling you, when you get into studying these words and you ask Yah to move you by the Spirit and you keep an open mind, this stuff will begin to speak to you. Now, if you look at this, this is a picture of a sun goddess. Her name is Circe, the church. And if you could see down here, there's a full circle ring. This sun goddess represents the pagan worship and the pagan forms of all Christianity and all Catholicism. Follow me now because I'm about to take you somewhere. Now, if you was to turn with me in the Nelson King James Bible, it looks like this. This is the Nelson King James Bible, okay? And this Bible has a lot of falsehood and deceiving statements in it. Also, these words that I just mentioned to you about karakon, kirsch, they're in here, but they're in a small gray box. I'll show you. It's in a small gray box. that not many of us really pay attention to. Small gray box. I'm calling you in on it. So if you get one of these Nelson King James Bible, this is what it's going to say. Let me put this over here. Now, so we're going to Ephesians, and we're talking about Circe, which also represents the formed church. Now, if you will go with me to Ephesians 5:25, and it says, husbands, I'm reading from the Nelson King James Version, okay, and we're dealing with the false statement. It says, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ, Helio, also loved the church, and gave himself for her. The sun goddess, okay, gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of the word. Follow me now. We don't have anything against husbands obeying their wives, but if we go to Yah's Holy Scriptures, which is this book, Yah's Holy Scriptures, okay? Now, we're getting into the right stuff. Now, it says, Ephesians 5:25, husbands, love your wives, just as the Messiah, with Yah's name at the end, also loved the called out ones. Church is gone, okay? And gave himself for them, the called out ones, in order that he might sanctify them, cleansing them with the law, as with water. 27, that he might cause them, the glorious called out ones, to be able to stand by his side. The Nelson King James Bible takes that away from you. The Hebrew Bible gives it back to you. Big difference. Now, to stand by his side, not having spots, nor wrinkles, nor any such thing, but that they would be holy, without blemishes. Brothers and sisters, remember, we're dealing with false statements, things that has been handed down to from our forefathers to us. Now, we're talking about a pagan form of worship. This is Circe. You can even look it up on the internet. The way you spell her name is Circe. All right. Now, it says, all of these church words means building the house of Curious. His name is Kurios. It's in the Nelson King James Bible. Follow me. Now, Curious means building the house of a pagan lord, a pagan idol, a pagan god. Okay? Now, when you look at 1 Corinthians 8:5, I'm going to read it to you. 1 Corinthians 8:5, it says, for even though there are many called gods of Elohim. Now, some pastors will tell you that the gods of Elohim means the mighty ones. These are mighty demons. Because if you look up the word Elohim in the Hebrew, or even look up Fields, it means gods, many gods, and demons. Now, it says, and many lords, which are Baalima or Baal, and he got many names. 6, yet to us there is only one authority, the Father. I'm not talking about no Catholic father. I'm talking about Yahweh. Now, from whom all things came, and from whom we live. And there is but one king, Yahosha Yah, with Yah's name at the end. Now, it says, and on whose account are all things. We live for him. Once you begin to understand what he came to do for the lost sheep of Israel. Now, however, not all possess this knowledge, but some throughout all their lives until now are accustomed to worshiping the gods of Elohim. Still eat that which is offered to the gods of Elohim. And because of this lack of knowledge, you are defiled. Defiled. In which we get the pagan worship of the sun gods. And this is in reference of them being lords. I'm talking about Zeus, Jesus, Isis, Hercules, Athena, Bacchus. I'm talking about all them gods. When you put an S on it, it sounds right, but it is not right. Now, it says, so the people today in 2012 have no idea that they are referring to an idol god. Now, when they take you in the Bible and they talk about idol worshiping, this goes deep, because the pastor never tell you the truth that the idol that they're talking about is Baal, Baal, which is the Lord and Master, the master of all demons, the ones that take over countries, the ones that take over churches, the ones that take over your children. I'm telling you the truth, brothers and sisters. It's time for you to understand what I'm talking about, because your life is at stake, your children are at stake, and if you keep messing around, you're going to be in the pit. Now listen, it says, now look at this. The word curse is similar to the Hebrew word kakar, K-I-K-R, kakar, or rack, which means a disc or a circle, which also means sun worship. The sun was worshipped as Baal, Lord and Master, by a full circle of pagans. Okay, a full circle of pagans, which is the pagan worship of the first day of the week, which is Sunday. In the word, it says he worked, Yah worked to create this world 6 days. On the seventh day, he sat down and rested. How in the world you're going to be in this false system, worshiping these false demons, false lords, false gods? All right, let's move on. As those claiming to be Christians are doing today, unaware that they are actually pagans in every shape, form, and fashion. Now, it says another origin of the word church is found in the Anglo-Saxon root word Circe. I already showed you what she looks like, which stems from the Greek name of the goddess Circe, which was the daughter of the sun god, worshipped as Christos Helios, from which the name Christ is derived from, who was a Roman sun god. So the proper name, and I'm going to tell you one more time, the proper Hebrew word for the congregation or a company is Qahal, A-Q-H-A-L, which means a company, a congregation, the called out ones, as an organized body of people. And this is what Yah is doing in this century, in this day and time. He's doing a wonderful, marvelous thing because he's putting his seal on individuals and he's calling you out of that pagan system. Now, moving on. So it says, so as you can see by the etymology of the word church, it is clearly of pagan origin and has nothing to do with Yah's people or the Messiah's people, but has everything to do with sun worship that is prepared for you on Sunday at your church. Now, in their Roman pantheon, known as the church, if you look up this word, it's called pantheon. Roman pantheon. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to spell it for you. Pantheon. Roman pantheon gods. I done already gave you their names and everything. This is very important. Now, it says, see what most people in these religion institutions today does not know is that Roman Emperor Constantine the Great in 321 AD legislated Sunday as a day of rest dedicated to the Greek and the Roman sun god, Helios. Okay. Constantine worshiped Christo Helios, which means, get this, Christ, the true sun. S-U-N. S-U-N. You better follow me now. It says church comes from the Anglo-Saxon root word Circe and stems from the Greek name of the goddess Circe, the daughter of Helios. The Roman sun gods adopted from the Greek mythology. So today, these people in these religious institutions throughout the world have been deceived, fooled, tricked, bamboozled into worshiping Helios, the same god Constantine worshiped on Sunday. And Helios is worshiped in his daughter's name, the church, and are really pagans in every shape, form, and fashion. Most churches today you see established are state-controlled 501c3s. A church that is formed under the permission of the state or hereby accepts state-offered benefits for doing so. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take a break right quick, and we will be back with the rest of this information because you need to know this information, but we do have to take a break, and we do love you, and this is not to offend you, but this is education that we need, your children need, our family needs, and the church needs to get off of that worshiping the S-U-N and get back in worshiping Yah and his feast days and his commandments. So, we're going to take a break for a minute and we'll be right back. Peace and blessings to you all.